All right, baby girl. All right, show me what you got. Show me what you got. All right. Trans brake. Yeah, bump box. Whoop, 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 whoop. Dale. Oh! Guys, the struggle is real. This light had already broke. It wasn't even working. Then I had that one over there that was an LED light. It was pretty bright. Well, that one just croaked out. So now I'm working in a shop with no AC, barely no lights. This isn't a shop, it's a cramped up garage. No lift, no decent tools. Look at my little bucket of Allen keys. Oh my goodness, the struggle is real. I'm trying to build a 6-second car with Harbor Freight tools. Here I am, I'm working on the fuel pressure regulator now. Before I had just one fuel rail, so I would enter the regulator on this side and return back to the tank on this side. I got my fuel pressure sensor. Now I'm opening up this side. I just opened it now because now I have twin rails. So I'm gonna enter the regulator on both sides and return out the bottom. So I just did that now. I've been working for the last little bit on modifying this bracket. This is the bracket that came with that sensor from Powerhouse Racing. Previously, I used to have the fuel pressure regulator. The fuel pressure regulator I had it mounted up here, but now that I'm gonna have to put a fuel line on both sides, doesn't quite work out that great. So I've decided to move it down here. Let me see if you guys can follow along. I decided to move it here. So I went ahead and modified this bracket. I bent it back the other way. I'm just gonna use that 110mm bolt that goes there, and I made this little slot so it can clear over this super long bolt that I was inquiring on Instagram and Facebook. That's for the subframe. So right there should work pretty nice. I was struggling to bend this, although it was aluminum, was pretty freaking hard. So I quickly drilled this old bench that I've had. This was the very first bench that I bought at my first house like 8 years ago. I bought this workbench at Home Depot. It's a piece of crap, but whatever, it works. Then I got this extremely old vise gifted to me recently by my stepdad. So I went ahead and just drilled through the bench. I threw some WD-40. This thing was freaking pulled from World War I, but it got the job done, baby. Again, my tools are rough, but it's all right. Little by little, we're getting it done. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing. I actually have to get the little bolts back on the regulator, get this thing mocked up again. I might not even put it extremely tight because I still have to do, I gotta buy the fitting for this side, get that fitting mounted. I'm thinking maybe earlier in the week, in a couple days, because today is Saturday, so I won't be able to make it down to Havoc Speed. That's the performance shop where I always buy all my fittings, all my stuff. I can't make it down there today. Tomorrow, they close the Sunday. Monday, they close, so I'm thinking maybe Tuesday. I'll get the Supra on the trailer. I'll make it down to them. I have to make fuel lines. I have to make the boost lines for the wastegates. Previously, I had one wastegate. I had two wastegates in the rear. Now I have one in the front and one in the back. So my previous, I guess, boost lines, these guys here, don't quite work anymore. So I have to make something like that again. So if I can do that at Havoc Speed, if I can get the fuel lines done at Havoc Speed, I'm getting really close to being done and just needing fab work. Then I'm gonna go to a fab person to get the exhaust done to the car, the exhaust. I have to modify the both side intercooler pipings, now with the new intake, with the new turbo, I have to change all that, make dump tubes for the wastegates. Once the fab is done, I think the last piece is, I'm still waiting on a fuel cell. I may have showed you guys here on the channel the fuel cell that I had received from Powerhouse Racing. I had some ideas to get that tweaked and made a little different, so I talked to the guys over at Powerhouse Racing. They've redesigned one for my car that I should be getting any minute. Once we get that, I'm thinking that'll be the last piece. After fab, I'll get that fuel tank installed, make one more new fuel line for the rear, and we're pretty much done. Shortly after, we'll go straight to the dyno, then we'll go straight to the track. After dyno, I'm going straight to the track. I still got to get this thing powder coated. This is my anti-roll bar for the rear. I got to get that powder coated. I'm going to leave the intake manifold, I said polish, but I might powder coat the fuel rails. I got to work on that. This is my new hyper-tuned throttle body. Little by little, we're making progress. I'm getting a new like overflow tank for the transmission built for inside the car. I got my new catch can built for the rear of the car. Little by little, guys. Woo! I've already ran the lines. I don't know if you can see them here, but one comes from the coolant. So I said coolant. One comes from the radiator, so all the way from the radiator, and the other one is the breather for the rear end. So we got those guys in there. Little by little, race family. I got a huge mess in here, man. I can't wait to be done with the car, pull it out, and organize this mess. My wife's been coming in here and slowly organizing some of our stuff and putting some of the boxes in the house, but it's nuts in here. Oh, another thing I have to work on today. This is, a lot of you guys reach out to me inquiring on wanting to buy a kit like this. My buddy Pablo in Puerto Rico, he makes these and sells these. So not the tensioner, you'll use your tensioner. It has to be an automatic tensioner, not the 6-speed tensioner. But if you have an auto tensioner, basically we drill, so this, you can kind of see it in there. You drill through the center of the tensioner, and he sends you the bolt, the pulley, he sends you this little kit. It looks OEM, but the benefit of this is this will help you route the belt if you have no power steering but you still have AC. So this has worked great for me, and I've helped Pablo sell many of these. If you guys are interested in doing something like this, eliminating your power steering and neatly running your belt, let me know and I'll put you in communication with Pablo. For me, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this bottom pulley off, and then I'm going to move this pulley that Pablo sent me. I'm going to move this pulley down to the bottom. I won't need one at the top anymore. The reason for that is I'm now, this may be the first time I say it on the channel, guys, I've decided to pull the AC out of the car. It's just temporarily. Hear me out, hear me out. I'm in Florida and it is crazy hot, but realistically, I never thought this car would get this far. However, got a hair in my mouth. However, guys, my passion now is drag racing, going to these events, bringing my whole family with me, coming with our motorhome, our trailer. We now have a golf cart, just basically camping out and hanging out the whole weekend around race cars and my race community. It's what brings me the most happiness. Back in the day, I would street race. I don't want to even talk about that now, but, or here on the channel, I don't want to promote street racing, but nonetheless, I used to street race. I would go to a lot of car shows. All that stuff was fun at a stage in my life. Now my main focus is drag racing. Is what I like the most. I still don't see myself turning this thing into an all-out drag car, fully cement block, a car I can only turn on for a split second, make a quarter-mile pass and stop it. This thing could still street drive, but I'm pulling more and more away from that. I really want to have my best possible chances at drag racing. So here I was last year at Florida 2K, competing with big brakes in the front. I was the only car in the elite class with heavy full-size brakes. I was the only car in the top, I qualified I think 4th fastest. I was definitely the only car in the top 5 with AC still. And meanwhile, at those events, you never turn the AC on. Otherwise it'll create condensation, drip water, so we never turn the AC on. And here I was carrying around a compressor. So anyways, all that nonsense. So this is what I've done. I've left everything under the dash stock. In case I want to return back to having AC, I very easily can. But for now, I removed the compressor and the condenser. Those two things and lines were about 30 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Took them out about a month ago, so I could be a little wrong, but according to my math, I think it was around 30 pounds. I also took out my windshield wiper motors. So I think when I went like half-mile racing a while back, I had removed, just for that event, I had removed my windshield wipers, and I still had the motors, I still had everything under there. Well, I took out that motor as well. That was another like 7 or so pounds. I forget if that was 7 pounds and this stuff down here was 30, or if the combination of the AC and that was 30. I can't remember now, but it's all out, baby. So my goal is to go 6s, and I'm willing to do pretty much anything required to achieve that goal. Once I've done it, we'll see where we go from there. I could easily pop the AC back on, return the car to a lot more quote-unquote streetable or enjoyable, but for now, it had to go, race fam. All right, so the reason I went on that rant is because I'm gonna have no power steering and no AC, the way I now have to run the belt is I'll need a ribbed pulley like this at the bottom. So I have to work on that today as well. But anyhow, my filming has been very on and off. It really slows me down a bunch to hold the camera and tell a story and film and walk you. As much as I'm very transparent, I like to fill you guys in on what I'm doing, it slows me down. Much more editing. I have a ton of clips like this that are all stuck in the freaking GoPro that I'm yet to pull, edit, upload. You guys keep requesting videos on Instagram, on Facebook, here on YouTube, and I'm sorry. I wish I had an editor. There's somebody helping me with this stuff. But anyhow, my main focus is getting this car up and going. But I'll continue to record little clips like this here and there, Clearly, once we go to the dyno, you guys will be there for that live. I'll film it and upload it right away. As soon as we go testing, I'll film that, upload right away. But this here now, where I'm making brackets, fittings, lines, where I'm doing a ton of small, silly stuff, I don't know, it just defeats the purpose of holding the camera and filming all that little stuff little by little. But anyhow, we're making progress. I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 days, I'll make it over to Havoc Speed as soon as they reopen, get all the fittings, all the lines that I need to complete all that, put the intake back on. I'll go shortly after the fab work. Hopefully shortly after I'll get my fuel tank, put that in. We'll start this thing for the first time and then straight to the dyno. You know what, I take that back. I still have to do, now for the 12 injectors, I still have to do a new wiring for the additional 6 injectors. So I have to work on that as well. There's still some work that has to be done, but I'm hoping in the next 2.5 weeks or so, we can hopefully be at a dyno. Let's see. You guys are all the best, fam. See you guys later.